Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have another Fog of War puzzle by Megan033. It's been a little while, I think, since I've done one of theirs. I've had a couple of other Fog of Wars that have come into play. Now, I believe this is the last one that they've made to this point, although there are like 3 or 4 or 5, well, in this particular series that I haven't even gotten to yet, let alone a couple of the other series that they have as well. So, with that said, let's just get into this thing and see what's going on. And as we know, this is going to be a great puzzle, so we're going to have a lot of fun with it. So let's just get on it. So we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. Every row, column, and 3x3 box will contain the digits 1 through 9 once each. Adjacent digits along a green German whisper line must have a difference of at least 5, so we can see a German whisper at least. So whatever this digit is, this one is 5 away from it, that one's 5 away from that one, etc. Digits in a cage do not repeat and sum to the clue in the top left. So we have one of those cages again. So these 4 digits, when they are added together, will equal 12. A black dot between cells indicates cell values with a 1 to 2 ratio. A white dot between cell indicates cells with consecutive values. Not all dots are given. We've got a couple of white dots shown, but no black dots yet. These are on a white dot, so they are consecutive. So 1, 2, 6, 7, etc. If this was black, it would be a 1 to 2 ratio, and this one would be half or double of this one. But since we don't have any black ones to show here, I'll just use that as an example. And then, of course, the grid is partially covered with fog. Correctly placed digits will clear the fog around that cell. No guessing is required. So if we were to figure out what this cell is, all of this fog would clear, and we would have some new clues, hopefully, within this fog that could help us move along and continue this puzzle. So this one, I don't think I said it earlier, is called Fogcelli by Megan033, and the link will be in the description below. Let's just get at it. So again, as I say often, when we have Fog of War, it's very focused as normally it's very focused as to where you need to look. So we can start there. We know this 12 cage is going to have some options. So we have to think about what that can be. I think we're always going to have a 1 in it because it's 4 cells. So if you don't use the 1, excuse me, you're looking at 2, 3, 4, 5, which would get you to 14. That's too much. Can we go without a 2? You cannot. So these have a 1 and a 2 in them, which means this is not a 1, because if this was a 1, this would have to be a 2. But we know the 2 is in here. Okay. What else are we going to know about this? What's the highest digit we can ever put in here? Because we can't put a 9 in it. We can't put an 8 in it. We can't put a 7 in it. We could put a 6. So 6 is the highest digit we could ever put in here. Because we could have a 6 and then a 1, 2, 3 to equal 6 to make to 12. So we know that the digits outside have to be from 7s, 8s, and 9s. Now, this can't ever be a 7, because we couldn't put a 1 and a 2 on either side of it. In fact, can we just think about whether this could be the high digit, or if it needs to be low? Because we just said, okay, I think that's probably what it is. Because we just said the very highest we could ever put in here is a 6, well, this couldn't be a 6, because we'd have to either put a 5 or a 7 here. We just proved that 7 doesn't work. Therefore, now we're getting down to 5 would be the highest this could ever be. But if it's a 5, this would either be a 4 or a 6, but we know 4 and 6 cannot go on the point like this of a German whisper, because these would both have to be the same digit. So we're down to now the max of this thing being 4, and then this obviously can't be a 5 because I'm a journalist, so it has to be a low digit is what we're getting at. So this is low. These both are high. The low digit can't be 1 or a 2. It can't be 4. It must be a 3. And therefore, these are not 7s. In fact, they just are 8s and 9s. And we can get rid of those numbers. Now, if this is a 3, it means this is either a 2 or a 4. And when we put that 3 in there, we did get a little bit more information. We'll get to that in just a second. If there's nothing else here that we can work with. I don't... Well, there's a little bit. No, there's not. I was going to say we couldn't put a 2 here, but that's not accurate. Because this could always be a 1. Okay. Okay, I don't think we can go too much further right there. So let's look at the new clues that we've just received, which is this. Now we know it's not from the 3-6 pair, so it has to be from the 1-2-4-8 grouping. Can it be... Yeah, I guess there's not necessarily a restriction as to what it could be, because we could put a 1 here. Or 1-2, I should say. We know it can't be a 2-4. I guess that's the easy way to think about it. So this is either a 1-2 or a 4-8. Can we pare that down any further? I don't think the 4-8 is going to do us much, but would a 1-2 do anything for us? Because it would force this to be a 4. These would be 1s and 2s. And that would give us 7 in this cage, and then we'd have to put a 5 here. To make 12. And if we did that, yeah, we could still make it work, because this could be 5 and this could be 6. Like we said, this was going to be the 4 in that instance of this being a 1-2. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that, and that is all doable. So, what else? And then again, if we do a 4-8 here, I don't think that really does much effect. It pushes this to be a 2, obviously. And then this is just whatever the highest digit ends up being. Well, let's think about that, though. Since we've put a 3 out here, we've now removed it from possibility. So what is the bare minimum here? We've got 1, 2, 4, and 5, which is exactly what it needs to be. Okay, that's the way to think about it. This was not 1 or 5. Okay, so this is a 1, 2, 4, 5 grouping. And we can say that this is a 6, 7 grouping. Now, I know one of these is a 5 and one of these is a 1. I'll put that note back there. Can we figure anything else about this Kropki? So going back to our 1, 2, it forces this to be 4, this to be 5, and this to be 6. The 4-8 forces this to be 2. Oh, that actually does something interesting. So either way, it looks like this has to be the 5, because if this is a 1, 2 pair, this becomes 4. So 1, 2, and 4 have been used, so this is 5. If this is a 4, 8 pair, this becomes 2. This is either 1 or a 5, but it cannot be a 1 because we'd force it to put 2 here, which we'd already have 1 here. So this is 5. So we get rid of these. Again, we're always going to have a 4 in one of these groupings, so this is 6. And there we can think now onto the new information we just pulled up. And let's think about the column in total. We need a 7. We need a 9. And the other value is either going to be 1 or 8, depending on how this works out. So let's put that in. 1, 8, 7, and 9. Okay, that is useful because this cannot be 7, 8, or 9. So this is, well, let's make sure our possibilities are correct before we put that in. So again, if this is a 1, 2, this is a 4, that would create a 7, 8, or 9. That doesn't work. If this is a 2, 4, it breaks this. If this is a 4, 8, this is a 2. This would be 1, 7, or 9. And again, the 7 and 9 doesn't work. So this is 1. That's correct. And by going through our listing, we know this is not the 1, 2. So it is the 4, 8, which means this is the 2. And these are not 2s. So we've got the 4, 8. We can take the 8 out of here. This is a 1. These both have to be high. Can't be 6. They're 7, 8, or 9. These two have to add up to 8 in some way without using 7, 1, or 6, 2. So they are a 3, 5 pair. We have a 7, 8, 9, triple, a 3, 5. These have to be 2s and 4s. Okay. Then, what else can we get out of this? Make sure nothing is popping out of it at the moment. Doesn't seem to be. This is 7, 8, or 9. So we get a 7, 8, 9 triple going across the row. And what else can we say about this? We've got a ton of possible digits. But do we have anything that can actually be given? That's the question at hand. Is this guy sticking out doing something for us? You'd think he would be. What can he be is the question, and I don't see something off the cuff that's really going to reduce what this is. Unless there's some way of how all this works out, it starts to pick at this thing. Let's think about it from the high side. If this is 9, 8, 7, or 6, well, it can't be 8, obviously. Does that do anything for us or impact this in any negative way? It's 9. Don't. Well, if this was 9, this is 8, this is 7, this is 7, this is 9. No, it doesn't look like it does much there. We know, okay, we know one of these is an 8. Okay, that's better. This cannot be an 8. Eights and 8s, but we already knew that in here. Really trying to get this thing pared down where this becomes limited. But it doesn't look like it wants to do that. So what else do we have on this? We know one of these is 8. It can't obviously be here. If it was here, this would be a 7, 9 pair. It doesn't work. This is the 8. Okay. Just wasn't looking at the right place. And that does give us a little bit more. Now we can start breaking some of this out. And did that get anything else specifically. It doesn't appear like it did. Okay, so what has that opened up to us? This guy can't be 1, 2, 2, 4, or 4, 8, so it is 3, 6. This guy can't be 1, 2, can't be 2, 4, can't be 4, 8. It is 3, 6. Can this be 3? It cannot, because this cannot be 8 or 9. So this is 6 and 3. Good. Now we have more info to work with. If this is a 6, this is a 1. This has to be above a 1, but can't be 6. So it's 7, 8, or 9. Oh, it can't be 7, because we have that 6, 7 pair looking at it. We've got a 16 clue, and we've got an 11 clue. This 11 clue might be useful because we can't use 1 and 3 at the moment. So what does that give us as a minimum? It's 2, 4, and 5, which is exactly what it needs to be. So this is 2, 4, 5, and it can't go any further. We know this is not 2, this is not 4 or 5, so it is 2. You're not 2. So we've got a 4, 5 pair. There has to be a 7 in one of these guys. And it can't be this one, so you're 7. There we go. This is an 8 or 9. So now we might be able to cut back over here to what these can be. It could be 1, 2. Can't be 2, 3. Can't be 3, 4. Can't be 4, 5. Can't be 5, 6. Yeah, this is the only thing it could be is 1, 2. Which means this is a 4, 5. This is a 4, 5 because of this. So we have a 1, 2, a 3, 6, and a 4, 5. Can we start to do more? I mean, know what these 3 are. I don't know if it's going to help us really at the moment, but they are from 7, 8, and 9. So we might as well just put them in. And I guess the 16 clue is the only real thing we have left to work with. Okay, let's think about it then. If this were a 9, these would have to equal 7 in some way. And there's multiple ways that could work. This is 7, these have to equal 9 in some way. There's probably multiple ways that works as well. Again, I was scanning around, just making sure I'm not missing any of these clues that could be giving us an in here. It seems like it's only these 2 clues right now. So maybe there is some more we can do here, or maybe we do just need to go through our grouping. So let's think about it. If this is a 9, again, these have to add up to 7. It can't be 6, 1. It could be 5, 2, or 4, 3, as long as this was the 5 and this was the 2, or this was the 3 and this was the, or sorry, that was the 4, or this was the 3. This can't be 5. So this can't be 2. So right now we're at a 3, 4 possibility. Again, if this was a 9. If this is a 7, again, we've got 9 left over. Can't do 8, 1. We could do 5. Wait, sorry. Let's go from the top. We can't do 8, 1. We can't do 7, 2, because one of these is going to be a 7. We can't do 6, 3, because we have a 6. So we'd have to do 5, 4. And the only place, and we can't do 5, 4, because we have a 4 or 5 pair here. So this just is 3, 4. If we know these are 7, this is 9 and 7, and that does work out. That 9 now is going to give us our 8 and our 9, and that's going to give us more information. Good. Okay, now we can look back here maybe and see what we can put in. So we have a bit of information working here. And we've got some fairly decent groupings of highs and lows together in columns. So let's try to figure out how this could work. These are going to be the same, either both high or both low. The only way this could be highs would be with a 7. So these would be 1, 2, and that could very well work. This could be any other high digit. If these were low, this would have to be a 1. And this would have to be a 2 or a 3. But that would force this to be an 8. And this would have to be a 7. Because we wouldn't be able to put a 6 here, because that would be a 1, and then 8 and 9 are there. Is this something we can determine? Because it seems like we do have options for both possibilities. It's going to have to be something we can put, or we can figure out here. So let's go through those options again. If these are both high, just put in the spots. We know this one would have to be 7. This one obviously can't be. These would be a 1, 2 pair. And this could be anything. If these were lows, again, this would be a 1. This would be can it be? It would be a 2 or a 3. It can't be a 3, because we wouldn't be able to put a 9 in either one of these. If it's a 2, we could have this be a 7 and this be an 8. I think those are all the options, and I don't really like the fact that it's looking that way. Because it's not very helpful at the moment. I'm going to leave that there for now, and we'll come back to it. Let's look somewhere else for them, because we do have, I mean, we can write things in. It's not wonderful, and I don't think it's going to do much for us, but we can. 1, 2s, and 5s. I guess we could have thought of 5s as well, where they can go, but they can go in any of, well, not that one, but any of these could be a 5. This is not a 5. And we can't rule out much more. We know one of these is a 5. It forces a 5 up here, but there's no, one of these two is a 5 because of these guys. We know none of these are 5s. Again, I don't see how that's really getting us very far, though. I was hoping there'd be an interaction with this black Kropki on this guy, but it doesn't appear that it does. So what is it? There's a 1 up in here somewhere. There has to be a 2 down here. One of these is a 3. I don't think this is getting us anywhere. Oh, the 7 and the 9 and the 7. That was the obvious thing. Okay, so that does remove this from being a 7. Therefore, this is low, so this is high, this is low, and this goes back up to high. Okay, there we go. Just being slow and blind. Not unusual. Did that do anything further? I'm not going to write in all these things. Let's look at this clue because it's one of the few things we have at the moment. What can it be? Cannot be 1, 2. I guess it could be 2, 3. Can't be 3, 4. Can't be 4, 5. It could be 5, 6, couldn't it? Can't be 6, 7. Can't be 7, 8. Can't be 8, 9. So there are 2 options here, either 2, 3, or 5, 6. And neither one of those really does much here except for the fact that it puts a 9 here. And that is probably all we needed to now get more information here. And this, of course, can't be a 9. Good. So we got a little bit. What about you? Because we've now opened this up, let's start looking through this thing. We know it, obviously, there's a few things it can't be. It's either a 3, a 4, can't be 5, could be a 6, can't be 7, it could be an 8, but it can't be a 9. Is that going to, dependent on what this is, I was wondering if it might impact these digits up here. I mean, we look further at the 5s, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. One of these is a 5, because this can't be, and this can't be. So that rules this out as a 5, which means this is. So maybe there's something up here. Okay, here we go. This is a 1 or a 2, so this has to be an 8 or a 9. Get a 1, 2 pair. I was hoping for more than that, though. Is there anything across here? Where does the 5 go in general? So the 5s are helping out here. This can't be 5, so this is. That's going to open up more as well. Now we got this guy and this guy. Let's look here first. This is a 4, this is a 3. And that can work. If it's a 5, it can't be 4, so it would have to be 6. Okay, so that does help us here, because this can't be a 3, 6. This can't be a 3, 6 because of this. This can't be a 1, 2 because of this. It can't be a 2, 4 because of this. So this is a 4, 8 pair, which means this is not 4 or 8. We get a 3, 6 pairing here, which forces our 8 and our 4 and our 8 and our 4 and our 8. And that does come up here and give us our 9 and our 1 and our 2. And it's going to break open a few things. And so this is not 9 or 8, so it is 7. Let's get rid of those. Good. We've got a 3, 6 pair here. This is not 3. This is either 3 or 6 by our column. Did any of this break anything open? Not yet. Okay. Think on if there is any type of base Sudoku. There is 4s. Had to do a quick look. So none of these are 4s, so this is. Anything else that's out there? Let's just click through them, I guess. One of these must be a 1. Don't see more there. Okay, so there has to be a 2 on here somewhere. That could be impactful here. Let's go through our Sudoku real quick just to make sure there's nothing else more obvious. This is just a 3, so you're not, which means you're not 2. And we can actually look back at this column. This must be a 1 and a 4, and that's going to give us a 2 and our 4. That 2 gives us our 1 and our 2 and our 2. There we go. So we had to do a little bit of Sudoku there. And where did it take us? 2s, I thought we were pretty darn close. Yeah, so this has to have a 2 on it. Therefore, it must be that 2-3 pair. Therefore, this must be a 2, which means this must be low. Get rid of this, put that in. This has to be 5 and 4. And this had to go down to 3 and 6, and 6 and 3. And we get the doot up there. What about you? You have to be either an 8 or a 9, and it can't be 8, so it's 9. 8, 9. That 4 and the 5 gives us the 4 or 5 pair. And we should be moving along quite nicely. The 3 gets the 5 and the 3. This has to be 6 and 7 by Sudoku. These have to have 5s and 6s, which are not quite resolved, but I'm sure they will be shortly. This is 1 and 7, so there's 1 and 7. This is a given 8. These are 4 and 7, so 7 and 4. And you are just a given 5. You two are 1 and 8. We have the 8 there, so 1, 8. These have to be what? 6 and 7, so 6 and 7. And I'm sure we'll get some resolution down here. We need a 1, goes there. What's the other digit? A 5. That's going to give us our 6 and 5 then. And then we're over to here. So this is 6, and this is 9. There we go. You solved the puzzle. Solution is correct. Awesome. As usual, another very fun Fog of War puzzle by Megan033. I hope y'all enjoyed this one. I certainly did. And the logic of it, as always, works out quite well once you see the little bits that you need to look at. So anyway, again, like I said, hope you enjoyed this one. I certainly did, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.